Welcome back to yet another mindset video. You know, on Sundays I like to grab the camera, have a bit of a conversation. Today I'm going to start with a story, and hopefully it'll relate to you in some way, shape, or form, and then talk about the solution or kind of what I discovered after. And it has everything to do with money and the most valuable currency of all, which is time. Also want to say that, sad face, I'm not in the Lambo or in any of my two-seaters. I'm in the wifey's SUV we bought her for baby Maverick. And I get sad because it is not as fast as the Lambo, and I love cars, but we're gonna together we'll make it through this. It's funny what happens as your standards in life increase, which I hope yours continuously increase. You're not as willing to tolerate any less than you deserve, and there's a really interesting upward spiral. As long as it's done consciously, can be really healthy. If it's unconsciously done, you can really lose yourself in that. Anywho, that's a topic for another day. Join our Monday mindset calls in the UIG. If you're in the UIG and you're not joining those, I'm going to hit you with a stick. I don't know if I can say that. Maybe I'll get in trouble for saying that. I won't actually hit you with a stick. I'm just joking about that. Plus, through the internet, I actually can't hit you, but I will dream of hitting you with a stick. There's so much value in those videos, so I really hope you join us. And they're live, so we can actually interact and talk about, to me, the most important piece, which is the human being behind. The actual investor, not the investing. The actual money maker, not the money making. The how-tos, the internet's full of that. How to do this, how to do that, how to invest, how to do crypto, how to do DeFi, how to do blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, oftentimes we know it and we don't do it. Why? Because the human being, who we are, the investor, not the investing, as I like to say. So today's a conversation about that. I hope this is a bit of a shift for you. We'll go back. When is this now? Wow. 10 years, 11 years. I used to work on the oil rigs up north. Akita Drilling. Hit me up if you're Canadian and you know what I'm talking about here. We drilled in the foothills of just outside Rocky Mountain House. That was a Kelly double that I worked on as a roughneck for probably about 2 years. And then I went on a big triple, and that was in Fort St. John, and did that for 4 years. Worked my way up to derrick hand, assistant driller for a bit, and then realized I don't like the politics of the office, went back to driller. The point of the story is I worked really damn hard. Harder than most people could ever fathom or imagine, especially on that redneck freaking cowboy double. When I went on that thing, it was like I went from a small town, kind of safe, to like, oh my God, these guys are doing drugs all the time and everything is out of control and I'm going to die any moment on this thing. Plus it was super, super hard work and it was all old school. We didn't do chains. We did have tongs. Let me know if you know what I'm talking about here. There's got to be some boys from the patch. There's got to be someone watching this from that. Anywho, the point is I worked really hard and I made really good money. At least to me back then, and to most people it was good. It was in my six figures and I was 20 years old. I bought what I wanted, rarely checked my bank account. And I worked, typically it was 14 days off, 14 days on, 7 days off, or 21, like 3 weeks on and like 10 days off. Although you missed 1 or 2 of those because of travel, because I lived in BC, I had to go to Alberta, blah, blah, blah. And when I actually calculated, like I think I was making around $50 an hour, which was, which is good. Most people don't do that. $50, $60 an hour. I think at the end it was around 65 an hour, and I was making around 110, 120 grand a year. That was with a lot of overtime. The point is, when I break that down daily, it was something like 380 or $400 per day. If I showed up to my shift, I'd make $400, and I'd work 12 hours, and it was usually in freezing weather or super hot weather. It's like the extreme conditions. And I thought that was really good until I realized I was giving up the most precious thing in my early 20s. That was my time. And I'm like, well, one day I'm going to be a dad. I don't want to be gone all the time. One day I'm not going to want to be gone. I don't want to trade my time for money. And so I started investigating this thing called investing. How do I get my money working for me? Fast forward another 8 years after that, when I discovered crypto DeFi, I understood the velocity of that and the momentum of it. I was like, this is it. And I hope you see the opportunity, but whatever kind of investing you do, the point was, it's very easy for me to do $500 per day right now in DeFi. That's much more than I used to make working 12 hours a day and missing life. I'm gonna tack one piece onto here in a second here, because first thing that we have to get is when we are trading our time for money, which there's nothing wrong with it, but at first it's like, just understand that time is the most precious currency. And so most people nod and say, okay, totally get that. Then they start working towards some kind of financial freedom, which hopefully you're doing, and crypto and DeFi present that. Really interesting thing happens, and I get this message quite a bit, is like, well, why are you still working then, Lucas? If I showed you my bank accounts, my investment portfolios, and what I have going on, you'd probably be like, oh, Lucas wouldn't have to work for 10 years at least. So Lucas, why are you still working? And here's kind of the next paradigm shift for people, is as you get more of your time back, you can actually start doing the things that are... I wake up every morning so freaking hyped and inspired by what we're doing. Very few days ever feel like work. If I was given $1 billion tomorrow, I would take $900 million of it and just put it into what we're doing to just speed it up. I love what I do. This is my mission. I believe that a man and human beings need a mission. They need a mountain to climb. The sad part of our reality is most people's mountain they're climbing is pay the bills and like survive. That's their mountain, and it keeps you engaged. Like, it's like, I gotta wake up because I gotta pay the bills. Got it. What happens when you no longer have to worry about paying the bills, which crypto and DeFi can do for you? I've coached many people who made a lot of money and they're like, well, I don't know what's next. A shift happens as you start asking, well, what do I really, really want to do? And the more kind of successful I am, or the more momentum we build and the more things work, the more motivated I get to like put in even more time, more energy, more effort, because I love what I do. I'm engaged with it. Oil rigs, I was waking up working 12-hour shifts because I had to, and it was exhausting, and I was miserable, and I was borderline suicidal at the end. I was taking painkillers. I was a mess. Fast forward 10 years after, I'd happily pull in a 12-hour shift if it means we change more lives, help more people. I'm so engaged with what we do. And the more money I make, the more it's like, you're almost, let me know if you relate to this. Please make this a two-way. The more like fearless and the less hesitation you have to like push even harder. And that's not always like time energy. That's like, hey, get more people involved with the mission, build out the team. Like, there's urgency, because I am not okay with the amount of people who are struggling financially. And if you think Cryptolabs and what we've built is like, whoa, to me, it's like just the start of what we truly want to build, which is like, think Dave Ramsey, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, all those big companies, except we speak to a very specific type of person and help them throughout their entire financial journey, from all the free financial education stuff all the way to like becoming an investor, scaling, partnering, and all these amazing things, even in business and entrepreneurship. It's like, I want to build the company that's positioned to people like I was, the underdogs. We're not taught this stuff, and that mission burns in my veins. And not because I have to, but because I want to. And that, to me, is what financial freedom does. The people who get financially free, and I know a lot of these people, and they just stop doing stuff, they get depressed, they gain weight, their life almost deteriorates. It's like, well, now I don't have to worry about money, and that's all I've ever fought for, so now what do I do? And it's just like, they don't do anything, and they get sloppy. I want the opposite to happen for you. You start investing, you start creating financial freedom, you realize maybe I don't need my job, unless you love your job. Most people don't. Maybe I'll transition out, like what else could I do? And it's like, you start finding what you truly want to do, what you would wake up every single day for the rest of your life and do, regardless of if it's working or not. Because I'm telling you right now, we started this business in a bear market. It did not work for the first year, and I woke up every single day chipper and excited to keep building. I was like almost unattached. Either it works or it doesn't. I don't care. I'm okay. This either works or it doesn't. And there's so much freaking power in that. Instead of desperately trying to build something because you need it to work, I'm like, get financially free. And I think crypto and DeFi present such an awesome opportunity. I wanted to have that conversation with you because I know some of y'all are going to be doing really well into 25 at the end of the bull market. And I don't want you falling into the trap of like, well, what do I do now? And that's available to everyone watching this. Let me know what landed. Let's make this a two-way. Join me tomorrow on my Monday mindset calls in the UIG. I want to see you there. We have these conversations, except a little more framework shared, a little more interactive, and a little more homework given for the week. So join me if you have the chance. And with that said, I hope something landed. and I'm gonna drive the mom baby mobile to where I gotta get to and probably pout the whole way, but I'll be okay. Okay, we'll talk to you soon. Peace.